I trust. That is the mantra for projectors. So welcome to Next Level Consciousness. You can watch the video down below if you want to know how human design has changed my life. But there are 5 different energy types. If you don't know yours, you can look it up also on the link to mybodygraph.com. You get your design for free. You just have to know your birth time. And if it says that you're a projector, maybe you already know that you're a projector and you want to learn a bit more, then this video is for you. I'm a human design reader and I've done over 150 readings at this point. And every time I do a reading for a projector, I tell them that your type is probably the type that needs to trust the universe more than any other type. It's very beautiful, but it might be a lot of conditioning from society to get rid of, because society is a lot shaped around generators. Now, generators have a lot of sustained energy to work for many hours, which is not really the case for you as a projector. But some of the most successful entrepreneurs I know are actually projectors. So the number one thing I want you to know is that your energy is quite different from what is considered the norm in society. But you are perfectly designed for the success that your heart and soul desires, because the universe doesn't make mistakes. Okay, so that is the first thing I want you to know, that you can be as successful as you desire. However, your way there is likely gonna look a bit different. That is why it's so important to trust. All energy types have a different role in co-creating the new earth, the next level consciousness world that we are moving into, which is based on higher consciousness, on love over fear. And that may sound a little out there, but human design is also very helpful for knowing how to manage your energy on the day-to-day in a way that allows you to live out the highest version of yourself, instead of trying to fit yourself into some mold that just makes you feel out of place and burned out. As a projector, the reason I told you you need to trust a little more is that you are designed for a relatively big proportion of rest versus doing. You are more for being than for doing, than what most of us are. So that is my number one invitation to you. Learn to embrace this and learn to shift the limiting belief that many of us have, that we need to work hard in order to get somewhere in life, or we need to work exactly 8 hours per day minimum in order to get somewhere. As a projector, you are more a seer than a doer, and your role in this web of human design is the guide. So projectors are natural guides. They are teachers. While the manifestors initiate, they start things. The generators and the manifesting generators build. The role of the projector is to guide the building. Okay, so if you imagine, for example, constructing a house, the manifestor gets the idea of the house. Maybe they also do the architecture. They plan it. Then they hand it over to the generators and the manifesting generators who actually build the house. The projector is standing next to the house that's getting built, and they're looking and they're seeing like, oh, you're actually not really following the plan, and maybe you should do a little more like that, and you should prioritize that part before that part. And that means, on a more general level, that projectors are really good at guiding the work as it is being done, and really good at seeing how the energy of others can be best used. That also means that projectors are natural coaches. They're really good at reflecting someone's life purpose, someone's path, how they really can thrive and shine in life. So when I say that projectors need more rest than work, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have a normal job if that is what you want. But to be in a role where you need to be a lot like facing clients or doing a lot of the heavy work, like building the house, that's more for the generators. You can have a role where it's more about research, about studying, about directing the work of others, because your energy is also very good one-to-one. So when you are with a person, they usually feel very seen by you. They feel very held and seen, and they feel safe in your presence in a way that they maybe don't feel with other people, because that is how your aura is. Every energy type has a different aura, and yours is penetrating. It is going deep in and gathering energetic information into the other person. So we saw that the manifestor aura was repelling. It is more like, okay, I'm here, independent, doing my thing, no one can bother me. Generator, manifesting generator have the same aura, and that is open and inviting. So that is more making everyone feel welcome because they generate this overflow of energy when they do what they love. But your energy is more focused on one person at a time, and especially to guide that person, to guide that person's life force, direction in life. So you can find a role, like some kind of work, where you are allowed to do relatively a lot of research and learning, because that is also something that projectors usually love. They usually love to dive deep into a topic that they are obsessed with. They're really good at studying and learning. Or you can be in a teaching role, a guiding role, and ideally where you can work one-on-one with some kind of coaching or mentorship. But as I always say in human design and in life in general, only take what resonates. You are your best teachers. I have found that these tips from human design are just very helpful in helping you unlock your own inner truth. So guiding others, giving advice, comes very naturally for the projector, because you often see other people better than they see themselves. You can also be your own blind spot, so you may need another projector to actually reflect back your truth. But seeing others, that's just your superpower as a projector. You are incredibly wise, and you see the bird's eye perspective, like you really see the whole picture in whatever situation you are in. However, one thing to watch out for is to give unsolicited advice, because what can happen as a projector is that you feel when you participate in group discussions, you talk to other people, you see exactly how they should do in life and what choices they should make that is in the highest good for them. But if you give them advice and they haven't asked for it, it is often not well received. It's not energetically correct. So maybe the other person will get offended, they will snap at you, or simply not listen to it. And when that happens, if you are in a group setting, maybe you say something, no one reacts, and then the person next to you say the exact same thing. And all of a sudden everyone listens and gives that person credit. And you're standing there feeling, but I said that, no one listened. And then you can feel bitterness. Every human design type has an emotion that's called their not self theme, which is the emotion telling you that you are not living in alignment with your design. You are not following the compass, the GPS, for living the highest version of yourself. But you are getting conditioned, you are going astray. And for you, projector, it is bitterness. And that often happens in situations when you give advice and it's not asked for. The signature theme is the emotion telling you that you are on the right track. You are in flow with life. You are living your highest truth, living according to your design. For you, that is success. So if you have success, of course, that looks different for everyone, but success in a way that feels good to you, that is a sign that you have followed your design. And by that, I mean that you are waiting for the invitation before you give advice. Because I know that you are the wisest person in the room. You see others better than they see themselves. But you risk losing so much energy and just feel this bitterness if you don't wait for the invitation, because that is the strategy for projectors. So strategy is unique to each energy type, and that is the golden rule for how you move through life with as little effort as possible and as much flow as possible. And for projectors, it is waiting for the invitation. And what does this mean? Does it mean that you need to wait for an invitation card in the mail? No. It just means that you need to be acknowledged somehow before you share the gift that you have per your design. In your case, guiding and giving advice. So a better way to go about it is to just study and research the things that you love and then let people come to you and express some kind of interest. And that being said, if you, for example, have a business, of course, you don't just want to sit and wait and hope that someone reaches out to you. If you have some kind of, let's say you have a coaching business, because that's very common for projectors, you can still show your skills. You can still talk about the things you do to a broader public. You can, for example, organize a speech. You can talk on social media. You can make YouTube videos like this. This you don't need an invitation for as a projector. It is more when you go to one specific person, you knock them on the shoulder and you say, hey, I think you should do that thing. And now maybe you think, oh, but isn't that true for all energy types? That no one really likes unsolicited advice. Yes, that's true. It might also happen to a manifesting generator, for example, that they give unsolicited advice and it's not appreciated. However, it is not as central to their life experience as it is for the projectors. For the projectors, learning this thing of waiting for the invitation and only sharing when someone shows you interest is often going to make a huge difference. It's like the lever for success. Whereas for a manifesting generator, well, it might be a good to know, but it may only help you this much on your life path, and for a projector, like this much. So that is the advantage of human design. And this waiting for the invitation thing, it is in particular around situations where you give guidance to one person in some kind of situation. But it can also be around job opportunities, relationships, and so on. So you may feel like it is more natural to you to be a little more in your feminine energy, to leaning back and to letting life come to you. However, this doesn't mean that you need to be passive all of the time. But just if you experience a lot of this bitterness, you feel like you're out of alignment with life, you are more in control than in flow, it can be something to experiment with. How can I lean back more? How can I surrender to the flow of life and let things come to me? Because when you just focus on learning and studying, doing the things that really bring you joy, that is when things get magnetized to you. And here we can spot the difference between the energy types, because manifestors, they get magnetic through initiating things. Generators, manifesting generators, is more through doing, through being active, through sharing their life force. But for you, projector, it is really to take a step back and either relax, as in just doing nothing or going for a walk in nature, or studying something that you like, but not doing some kind of output work that we think of as making sense when it comes to making money, when it comes to reaching success. The way to success looks different for you. And when you are in that relaxed and surrendered state, you will receive these invitations. That's just how you are designed. It can be direct invitations. It can be to get interviewed on someone's podcast or to participate in a conference and as a speaker. Any kinds of opportunities. It can be a job opportunity. Someone is headhunting you. When you take a step back and just focus on you and sharing your voice if that feels correct on different platforms. But this is really a gift that you have as a projector. You don't need to be so much in the hustling. You don't need to try and go for things. But that is the number one challenge also for you, to trust that life comes to you. Because you may feel as a projector that you get into this FOMO, fear of missing out. And you feel like, oh, but I should initiate a little more. I should really try to work my way to things and go out there the way that we have been conditioned to do in society. And also that if you get an invitation, maybe you say yes out of fear that nothing better will come around. So that is also my invitation to you, dear projector. You don't need to say yes to all the invitations that come, because the right one, the most aligned ones, will show up when you follow your design. And the way that you know that something is right to you is through using your authority. Projectors can have many different types of authority. So if you look at your human design chart, it's gonna be printed next to your chart. And that's beyond the scope of this video, but I encourage you to look up your authority to know how your unique intuition speaks, how you are uniquely wired to make decisions. So that was all for my dear projectors. Release the idea that you need to work hard, surrender to the flow of life, and magic will happen.